What's up, guys? Um, I know I only get a couple viewers or whatever, but it's been a while since I posted. It's been since January, about 5 months ago. A whole bunch of stuff has been going on. Uh, well, I can start off with this. Um, After I posted that video, that girl that I was saying that I was talking to, we actually ended up getting together. It was probably one of the realest relationships I've ever been in, and a lot of things have happened, and I could say this about that relationship. Like I said, one of the realest relationships I've ever been in, and it kind of shaped me into the way I see things today. Um, a little while after I posted that video, I ended up getting kicked out from my apartment. Not like kicked out, but like um, I ended up going to staying with a friend named Tristan. Okay, I got two friends with the name of Tristan. One, he lives in the state of Washington, and the other one lives in the state of Nevada. And I ended up going to stay with the one that when I was in Nevada. I'm not in Nevada anymore. I will say this: I am currently in the state of Washington. A lot of things have happened to make it to where I'm up here now. So um, after I left that apartment, moved into the Siegel Suites downtown Reno. Um, I ended up doing a bunch of things that I never thought that I would end up doing. I ended up losing my job at the Calneva. Got so in depth with drinking and smoking weed and hanging out with the people I shouldn't have been hanging out with. And it showed me that in my other video, you can't have, like what I quoted from my old friend Justin, that you can't have any good in life without something bad, and you can't have any bad without something good. And so I did a lot of bad things, and it led me here. I'm saving money. I got a job. I'm about to move into a really nice apartment up here in the state of Washington. Uh, but after that, I ended up moving out of the Siegel Suites, moved into a Motel 6, and then kind of just didn't have any money. I just kind of ran out. Had nothing else to do, nowhere else to go, and but I'm actually going to explain why I have tattoos now. When I was in the Siegel Suites, the girl that I was talking about in the other video, when we got together, she wanted to do some tattoos for me. She had her own little tattoo gun, and it was awesome. I was like, yeah, cool. She did she let like the couple of people that were there with us use the tattoo gun. So it was cool. It was fun. But when I was down in Reno, I always had this word, and every time I did something after I made that video, I would always say, that's dope, dude. Like that's hella dope, and then she put my initials on this hand, AK with 2 stars. And then ever since I was little, I always wanted this one tattoo, is the DC symbol, and I put it right here. It's the one spot that I wanted it. That's not going nowhere. These, I'm just waiting for them to fade away. They're slowly fading away because they weren't done properly. But that's okay, because she did her best, and I'm not saying she sucked at it, but she did her best. But so she also pierced my ears when I was down there. Had just regular studs, and throughout the time of me being down there and then coming up here, I ended up sizing up in the gauges, and I got to a gauge size 2. That was the highest I got, the biggest I got, because once I came up here, I couldn't find a job because this whole pandemic thing that's going on, and so with everything else that's going on, I tried to enlist in the military. I wanted to go into the military as just regular infantry, and I ended up getting denied because I need glasses, and I have so many things messed up with me. I don't know the whole thing. I forgot why they said it, and I just forgot about the whole doing it. So I ended up taking out my gauges. They're slowly closing, but soon I'm just gonna do like a regular stud, just leave them in there. That's all I'm gonna do. Later on in my life, I'm probably gonna, start gauging up. My plan is I wanted to get to an inch, like my cousin. He has an inch, and I just thought it was pretty cool, so I wanted to do it. But so back to what I was saying. I'm still in contact with all my family down in Nevada. But so after I got kicked out of the motel, I became homeless. I was homeless for about a month and, no, a little less than a month, a couple weeks. And it was the worst experience anybody could possibly have. I saw things, and I've been around things that I never thought that, somebody could potentially go through or be in or be a part of, and, fights, things like that. Just, leave it at that. And so one day I called up my dad up here in Washington. I was like, hey, how you doing? Like a regular talk, and he asked me how I was doing. I told him the truth, because there's that point in your life where you're just like, what's the point of lying? You're always gonna, dig yourself in a deeper hole to the point to where you can't get yourself out of it. And that's what happened when I was homeless. So I ended up telling the truth to my dad, and he said, give me a little while, and I'll talk to your stepmom. And I said, okay. Well, I went to the shelter down in Reno, went to sleep. Mind you, I'm still with this girl that I was talking about in the last video. And so my dad calls me at like 6 o'clock in the morning, because wake up call at the shelter was 6 o'clock in the morning. And my dad calls me. He's like, yo, how do you feel about coming up here? I thought to myself, I was on the phone with the girl, and I'm just gonna say this girl was probably I'm just gonna say it right now, she was one of the best things that ever happened to me at the time. And she showed me a lot of things that I could overcome, and she made it to where I'm the guy I am today, And so when I was on the phone with her, I was sitting next to my best friend Tristan, and well, at the time he was my best friend. We don't talk anymore because he went down a path that I don't follow. And so I just kind of sat there for a second. I thought, what would I do? What would happen? I was so scared. I didn't know what was going on. And I ended up, breaking out in tears on the phone when I was talking to this girl. And, I was texting my stepmom and my dad at the same time, because I didn't want to leave that girl. She already had enough things going on as it was, and I didn't want to have that downfall on her. So we ended up, like I said, things didn't work. She wants to go and she wants to go to school for cosmetology. I think that's the awesomest thing ever, and I want to make do. I want to have a good life up here in the state of Washington, and she wants to live in Southern California. So we both kind of had separate dreams for ourselves, and we just kind of went separate ways. And one thing I could say is, well, sorry for my language, but shit happens, right? But so I answered my dad. I was like, just out of my ass, I said, yeah, sure, let's do it. Well, at the time, I had all these friends down there. I hung out with my really cool friends. Wiley, he was like that video game kid who's like, he's 30 years old, and people might pick on him, and honestly, I think that's the dumbest thing ever. If you want to live your life and do what you want to do, then fine, do that. Don't sit here and talk down on the people who are doing just something that they love. Wiley was awesome, even though, he's trying to get his life together piece by piece, because his past things happened in the past and he's just trying to put his life together, doesn't mean that he can't show other people, you know, what things are about. And that's the main thing that I liked about him, was that he might be a jokester, you know, he's straight up, he's straightforward, you know, he's 30 years old and he, you know, he sits around and he plays video games a lot, but that doesn't matter. It's the fact of how good of a friend he was. And I had a friend named Joseph. He, you know, he wasn't from around Reno until his buddy Trevor, which everyone called him Smiley, you know, brought him down there to Reno from Oregon. And he didn't have anyone down there except for him until he met Wiley. And then he, after I moved up here, supposedly he moved in with Wiley because he was living with Smiley. So it was awesome when I was down there. You know, I had a lot of fun. You know, I experienced what it's like, you know, to be 21. And I can tell you right now that all the things that I went through down there are way too emotional for me now than it was then, because the things that I went through, the things that I've seen, the people that helped me along the way are my stepping stones to succeeding in my life. And doing all the drinking and, you know, having fun and gambling, it was fun while it lasted, but it's never something you want to get into. Beer pong, poker, all of it, never something you want to get into. But we're gonna kind of speed up here a little bit, because you know, I don't have much time to do this because I got a job now and I got to get to work. But so I ended up going to my mom's job, and I took all my stuff over there. She still has my stuff, still to this day. I'm still trying to come up with enough money to send her without pulling out of my savings, you know, messing up my budget, but having enough money to send her so she can bring my stuff up here. And so you know, I'm happy. I live up here, and it's great, you know. But so, other things, I went to my mom's job, gave her my stuff, and then sat there at the RNO airport, waiting for, you know, the next time, or waiting for my plane to be there. And it was really emotional because the friends that I did hang out with weren't there with me at the time when I was about to get on the airplane. And, you know, the only one that was there was Tristan. And the girl that I was, you know, together with at the time, I'm just going to say her name. Her name was Shay. And, you know, things were amazing down there, you know. Had a lot of fun. So I got on the plane. I ended up going to Los Angeles, and then up here. But see, what happened was I fell asleep in the airport in RNO, so I ended up missing my flight, because the flight was originally supposed to be from RNO to Denver, Colorado, from there to here. So I ended up falling asleep, missing my flight, so I ended up leaving and going to LAX instead, and then up here. And so once that happened, you know, took a bunch of pictures in LAX from inside of the airport. There's a big mall in there.
You want me to bring you groceries, please?
Yeah, sure. So, sorry, I had to help real quick. I was explaining something to someone. But so, I ended up getting to LAX. Took a bunch of pictures while I was there. There's a big mall inside LAX. It was probably one of the coolest malls I've ever been to. And as soon as I got up here, I love flying on an airplane. It was amazing. I love the airplanes. It's great. I got up here, And then a couple weeks later, everything started going down on lockdown. And the pandemic of the coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever you guys want to call it, started going down. And slowly but surely, bits and pieces of every county were starting to close down. Except for the essential companies, of course, like Safeway, Fred Meyer's, or any other grocery stores, doctors' offices, the hospitals, things like that. And then a bunch of places started slowing down on their products and all kinds of different things. So it took me from when I got up here at the end of February until about the end of May to get a job because of the whole pandemic situation that's going on. And then come to find out, people are starting riots and things like that all over the country because of the death of a black civilian from a white cop. And it's been crazy and everything, but I'm probably not going to continue doing these videos anymore just because I'm trying to focus on, trying to bring my life back up. The next video that I end up doing is probably going to be when I officially get on my feet. I'm in my place. I'll show you guys my place. I want to start getting more people on liking these videos and watching them. But so, other than that, that's what's been going down. I stopped smoking. Stopped all of it. Smoking, drinking, everything. I stopped it. It's done. I did it because I don't want to end up dying at the age of 60. So I stopped. I do have a drink every now and then, but that's for special occasions. And I do it under supervising conditions. So other than that, this is the end of my YouTube channel until further notice. So thank you guys for subscribing to my channel. If you guys do want to end up getting in contact with me, because I still haven't figured out how to get to see who subscribes to my channel. I still haven't figured out how to do that. I probably won't ever do it, but if you ever want to get in contact with me, just text me on the comments down below. But so, other than that, I stopped making music because when I was living in the motel, the laptop that I had ended up being stolen by somebody who I thought that would never steal something like that. But so, anyways, I'm happy. I'm hanging out with my family. Everything is going great. Make sure you guys stay safe out there. Make sure you wear your mask, 6 feet, social distancing. Make sure you wash your hands. Bacteria is very fatal to most people. And other than that, quit blaming the people who are peacefully rioting, just peaceful walks, on the people. Sorry, I should rephrase that. Stop blaming the peaceful people who are protesting. So the peaceful protesters. Stop blaming them for the things that the rioting people are doing. Because they're not doing. They're standing there with signs yelling. That's all they're doing. But people beg to differ. But so, anyways, yep, I cut my hair. Other than that, everything's good. Life's doing a lot better. Washington State, y'all. Let's get it.